The Indianapolis Colts have captivated all headlines today as news broke that they have announced that Daniel Jones is going to be the starting quarterback going forward, as Shane Steichen said, for the season. We're going to analyze not only that, but why I think it was not only just the plan today, but why all along this offseason, this is exactly how they wanted things to go, and it didn't really matter what happened in training camp or in the preseason. We're going to cover all that and more. What's going on? It's Elijah from Sports Talk Indy, where we cover all things Colts and Pacers and Fever. And today we're talking about the news that shook the world. And where a lot of people are surprised, I think if you follow the Colts for any amount of time or have really followed along this offseason, I don't really find this that surprising, nor do I think this is going to change anything. I think nothing is different than it was before, and I'm going to try and offer a glimmer of hope to Colts fans and also maybe what is really going on. And I really do think this was the plan all along. We're going to talk about what exactly happened today. So Coach Shane Steichen opened the press conference today. Literally first words out of his mouth is Daniel Jones is the starter. Now, this is no surprise, as the decision itself is of no surprise, as we expected Coach Steichen to have a decision made. He said it would be likely before the third preseason game. So today being the start of the new week, it is no surprise that that is the direction that he wanted to go. What is surprising to a lot of people is that they chose Daniel Jones. I don't think this is necessarily super shocking. It was definitely the direction I thought they would go, given that I felt that if Daniel Jones or if Anthony Richardson was going to be the starter, that they would have announced it way sooner, as he was the incumbent, as he was the current starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. He ended the season that way, and they didn't have anyone else, right? Like that was the guy they had. Daniel Jones had to earn the spot. But Chris Ballard started this offseason by saying that it was an open competition, that it was anyone's game, and it was likely going to come down to be a two-horse race, pun intended. Now, I think this is going to be long-term good. And obviously, I know this is probably going to enrage a lot of fans, as they really hope to see that Anthony Richardson was going to be the answer long-term at quarterback. I don't think that he's going to be the long-term answer at quarterback, but even if he is, let's hold out hope and say that Anthony Richardson is going to be the long-term solution for the Indianapolis Colts. They have him under contract for 1, maybe 2 more years. At the end of this offseason, they have to decide if they're going to pick up the 5th-year option for Anthony Richardson. Now, they may not. I don't know. What I am going to say is for this season, I don't think the Colts are tanking. And there's a couple reasons why I don't think the Colts are tanking, but I also, if you look at this offseason, Daniel Jones right now is making more money than Aaron Rodgers. I think the only reason that you take that deal is if you have at least an idea, or the only reason the Colts offer that deal is if there's an idea, or if not not even a long shot, that he is going to be the current quarterback. That he's going to be the quarterback at the end of or at the beginning of the season. That he's going to be the guy taking the reins for this team. But not only that, but the Colts also made several moves this offseason that I think are telling that either they're doing a really bad job at tanking, or they really believe that this is the team and that this may be the guy to take them to a far place. Now, whether or not they're right, I have no idea. I'm not going to pretend to know more about football than Shane Steichen or Chris Ballard. What I am going to do is try and analyze every single move they make and microanalyze it and report on it and tell you exactly what I think is going on. And I think this is all going according to plan. The Colts have said multiple times that they still believe in Anthony Richardson. They still believe he has a chance. They still believe that he could still be the guy. He could still be the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts in the future. What I think the Colts saw this offseason was that Anthony Richardson is not fully healed up. Anthony Richardson re-injured a AC joint that he was experiencing soreness on that held him out for several weeks before training camp started. After training camp started, he seemed pretty consistent, again showing signs of being really good. He's once again showed off in training camp that is something he's done time in and time out. One thing that is apparent is that Anthony Richardson is still not able to figure out how to take a hit. Again, this is to no discredit of Anthony Richardson. I'm not even an Anthony Richardson hater. What I am is trying to be real of the situation. Anthony Richardson still doesn't know how to take a sack. That blindside sack of a coverage that he didn't read on a blindside that he shouldn't have had, he still was able to dislocate a pinky. So, all that aside, I think this pinky injury and the shoulder injury are both looming factors into the decision that was based on why the Colts benched Anthony Richardson. I think this also gives him an opportunity to learn. Again, Again, I don't know if he's learning under Daniel Jones or if he's learning just in general how to read defenses and how to read teams. Maybe this is just the mental reps that he needs, as this is one of the first times he's able to take reps and not be injured. His first season, he wasn't even on the sideline for a good portion of the year as he was healing up from the injury. But here's why I think the Colts aren't tanking and why I think this is kind of, again, going along according to plan. Right before this decision, the Colts also signed cornerback Xavier Howard. Now, Howard is by no means a prime cornerback anymore, as he was in the previous tenure of his life, playing 8 seasons with the Miami Dolphins. He was the interception leader. He's an four-time Pro Bowler. They added depth, a veteran savvy, and leadership to a group beset by injuries. This is a team that I think if you're going to be tanking, they're doing a really bad job of it, because they also signed Cameron Bynum, Tre'Davious Ward, and now Xavier Howard. 3 veteran DBs in a room that is plagued with, or that it needs veteran leadership. They have a lot of young talent, a lot of young guys in this veteran team, and I think this is all adding to a team that, again, doesn't really seem to be tanking. Not only that, but they also have a good wide receiver room and potentially one of the best running back rooms in all of football right now with Jonathan Taylor and DJ Giddens. I think this is going to be a good team. Now, obviously, this team is not escaping the injury bug, as Tyler Goodson, Bernard Raymond, and so many others are going to be out for a long time. Hunter Wohler, who we reported on last week, is now going to be out for the rest of the season with a leg injury. Here's what I think is really something to look forward to this season, because this is going to go either one of 2 ways. The Colts are either going to be really, really bad with a really good defense and an offense that is going to be limping and going throughout the season, and we're going to be able to get the top pick or one of the top picks in the draft, and maybe that's on a quarterback. Or this goes all according to plan, and that Daniel Jones is going to be the guy. Or third option is that Anthony Richardson ends up being really, really good, and again learns because of this. Because I'm not going to pretend that I know more about football than Chris Ballard or Shane Steichen. But I do know this. They know their jobs are on the line this season. What I also want to talk about is that Daniel Jones has had some good seasons. His best season coming in 2022, the same year that Saquon Barkley had a massive season, the Giants went to the playoffs. This was the depth chart of that same season. This is from Giants.com. Ahead of week 1, this is the offensive depth chart. Daniel Jones is the starting quarterback. Tyrod Taylor backup. Kenny Golladay, wide receiver 1. David Sills, the 5th. Darius Slayton. Wan'Dale Robinson, and Richie James. You tell me, are any of those guys better than Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Alec Pierce? I would say no. Your tight end being Daniel Bellinger and Tanner Hudson. Again, I don't think any of those guys are better than Tyler Warren. The offensive line is Andrew Thomas, Ben Bredson, John Filisanio, and Mark Glowinski, Evan Neal. I think we have a current better offensive line than any of that. Not to mention, we have a better play caller in Shane Steichen and Jim Bob Cooter. This is what later that same room would look like as it was plagued with injuries once again. Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Isaiah Hodgins became wide receiver, Kenny Golladay, Darius Slayton, and Marcus Johnson. Daniel Bellinger still being the number 1 tight end. Tanner Hudson. And again, this team didn't change too much, but it was honestly the best of Daniel Jones' career. He amassed 22 total touchdowns with only 5 interceptions in 16 starts, and he delivered a historic performance and boosted the Giants into the playoffs, including becoming the first QB with 300 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and 70 rushing yards in a playoff game. I think, again, I don't think Daniel Jones is turning heads right now, but I do think that he has the potential to carry this offense far enough where this defense can push them. But if not, I don't think that Carly Ursay is going to be playing around with this team anymore. I think this is the one last shot that Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard have at maintaining their jobs. But I also think that there's a good chance and a good opportunity that this Colts team is still really good in a very winnable division, and with a good defense, if this defense is going to be able to play like Lou Amarillo wants it to play as, this team could be very, very lethal. And that's what I think we should focus on. Obviously, there's so much negative to focus on. The Colts, at nothing else, missed on the pick with Anthony Richardson, or they're mishandling how to develop him. But at best, the Colts team might have figured it out, seen something that we don't see yet, and it could be very, very good. I don't think Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard are playing with their jobs. I think they obviously want to keep doing their jobs, and that's going to require playoff performance or more. And I think that if this is the decision that they're willing to make with their jobs on the line, maybe we should take a seat back and trust it for just a few minutes and see if maybe they know what they're doing. If not, it all blows up and we start over next season.